Hi, grade 9s. It's Mr. Smith again, and we're on page 320, number 14. So here it says the regular pentagon has a perimeter of 18.8 units. What is the value of x? Okay, so again, I will not do this question for you, but I'm happy to get you a similar question. So this time I won't do a pentagon question, but I'm happy to do a hexagon question. So now I kind of forgot to set this up. In other words, I've got to make up some numbers now that'll make sense. So I'm just going to pause the video briefly, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I made up some numbers for you. So let's just consider this hexagon. Let's give an expression down here. So like this. Well, first of all, just to show you that it's a regular hexagon, of course, we'll use our little tick mark, our little hash marks to show that all these sides are supposed to be the same. Let's go with m, just to pick a different letter, minus 2, okay? Now, we're supposed to figure out the letter m given the perimeter. So let me give you a perimeter now. So let's just say the perimeter on this thing is equal to 34.8, okay? So what happens when, by the way, you know what happens when that happens? I press a button on this pen, and then it kind of makes the line go all crazy. Anyways, the perimeter is 34.8, and the length of one side is done by an expression. Okay, guys, we're way past this part of your life where I just said, hey, you've got a hexagon and it's 10 centimeters, and what's the perimeter? And then you just guys said, well, it's 6 times per side, and it's 6 times 10, and the answer is 60 centimeters. That's no longer a grade 9 or a high school question, okay? We're gonna have to challenge you a little bit more, so we do that by making your side lengths expressions, all right? But nevertheless, the basic concept of a perimeter applies. The perimeter of a regular hexagon, okay? I mean, if this is a square, we would just take one side and multiply it by 4. Well, it's a hexagon. So we're going to take 6 sides, and we're going to multiply it, right? We're going to multiply it by the length of one side. 6 times s, all right? Or if you prefer 6, if you want to put brackets here, and it's 6s, all right? Just on very rare occasions, and I only say this because I don't know what textbook you're going to use or what type of teacher you're going to have. Sometimes you'll have 6, and remember you have this dot thing, 6 times s, but that's a little crazy. You don't see that too much. Now, what we're saying to you is s is not like a simple little thing. It's not even just like one letter. It's an expression, okay? So s is actually equal to the expression of m minus 2, okay? I'm trying to make these equal signs a little bit better. S is equal to m minus 2. So what we're going to do then is, instead of just having a single variable, or I guess technically a monomial, instead of just having the letter s, there has to be an expression we use for s. It's m minus 2, okay? M minus 2. I got fixated on the s there, and I started to write an s. M minus 2. Okay. Now, of course, we actually know the perimeter. I just gave it to you, right? It's right here. So let's write this all out now. Okay, our perimeter is equal to 6m subtract 2, where this expression is our length of one side. And now we actually have a number to swap in here. So in this case, again, I just making up this example. All right, this is not in your textbook. This is your textbook question, so I'm doing something very similar. So 6 is equal to m minus 2. All right, we're going to distribute. Okay, we're going to distribute that 6 through our brackets. So 34.8 is equal to, by the way, it's kind of implied, but centimeters. 6 times m is 6m. 6 times, just keep your subtraction sign. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay. And now we have a regular two-step equation. I would suggest to you that it's really about the setup, right? Can you set this up? Can you take this information and this information, right? And knowing that the number 6 is part of this, right? The number 6, pardon me, in your question, the number 5 is going to be part of it. In my question, I dealt with a hexagon, so it was 6s. What do you think it's going to be for your question, knowing that a pentagon is 5 sides? Okay, back to what we were doing here. Okay, so what are you going to do to both sides? Well, you deal with this constant first, all right? Hopefully I have drilled that concept into your head. All right, so that zeroes itself out, and we're left with 6m is on the right side. I can add my placeholder 0 here if it makes me feel better, and it does make me feel a little bit better. And we've got 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 plus 1 is 4. And we got 46.8. So 46.8 is equal to 6m. All right, so what are we going to do now? Well, what's the relationship between 6 and m? It's multiplying, okay? And so what do we do? What's the opposite of multiplying? Remember, we're not supposed to solve for 6m. We're supposed to isolate the variable down to a positive 1 variable, okay? But the positive 1 is implied. It's invisible. So 6 multiplied to m, so we're going to divide both sides by 6. We want to get that m by itself. All right, so that reduces to 1. That's not a 0, by the way. There's so many students that still think, like, see, here you want a 0, right? I always feel like I should emphasize this. Here, this is a 0. This is a 0 pair, right? When you deal with the constant, you want it gone. When you deal with the coefficient, you want it reduced to 1, right? This is a reduced to 1. 6 over 6 is equal to 1. 6 over 6 is 1. All right? So just thought I'd point that out because I don't think you can emphasize that enough. I'm just going to stick with black. So 46 divided by 6, 46.8, pardon me, 46.8 divided by 6. 6 goes in there 7 times. 7 times 6 is 42. Subtract. Now, again, you guys can use a calculator. I'm just doing this for a brain exercise. Anchor, lock your decimal. In other words, if your decimal's here, you're going straight up, right? Don't have the decimal. You got to make sure your decimals are lined up. It's similar. It's a similar concept. Well, it's the exact concept is when you add and subtract decimals. When you divide and you're using long division, that decimal has to be locked into place and go straight up. The remainder here is 4. Bring down your 8. It's not necessary to put the decimal here because you're really just talking about a times table thing. I just want to know how many. I've already accounted for, right? I've already recognized that this is a decimal, right? Whatever this number is, it's less than 1 whole. I'm in the 10th position. And I don't want to distract myself. I really wouldn't. Like, I've seen some students do that, and I actually think it's terribly distracting. I just want to think of my times table at this point. When I'm trying to do long division, I'm just trying to do a times table thing. So 6 into 48 goes 8 times. I already know it's a 0.8. It can't be a full 8, right? It's in the 10th position. So 48 minus 8, there's my crazy 4. And that's a 0, right? We subtract and it's a 0. So 7.8 is our answer, all right? And we can check that. The perimeter is supposed to be equal to 6 sides times, in this case, it's supposed to be 7.8. This is no longer a mystery, right? That's no longer a mystery. I know what that is, all right? Oh, my bad. Sorry. M minus 2. Bad, Mr. Smith. It's not 7.8. It's 7.8 minus 2. Bad, Mr. Smith. Almost made a colossal error there. I forgive myself, though, because I caught it in time before the recording was done. Okay, so 6 times, what is 7.8 minus 2? That would be 5.8. 5.8, okay. And sorry, that's, let me just back that up because I forgot to rewrite my 6. Hang on a sec. Okay, equals 6 times, and this works out to be 5.8, okay? And 5.8 times 6, 48. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 4 is 34. Well, shocker. Oh my gosh. I hope before I turn 100 years old, I'll be able to write this pen and not mess up the 4s. Okay, guess what? That works. So another Happy face with a yay. All right, enough of that. Okay, if you got questions about this, drop me a line, email, or go to my office hours. All right, happy to help. Always happy to help my wonderful, lovely grade 9s. Okay, see you on the next question.